Hold up, hold up, hold up. You weren't about to skip my intro, was you? Well, now I got a new intro. Tell me what you think. Alright guys, welcome back to Horseplay. Kind of already in the middle of a project. I didn't know how it was going to work out. But I figure I would stop, make a video, and talk with y'all about what's going on, what I'm doing, and it might help some of y'all in the long run. Basically, my rear end was leaking at the pinion. As y'all know, I went and bought a rear end that was already built, all the seals and everything in it was fresh, it was good to go. It had been sitting a little bit, so I was worried, oh great, those seals done dried out. Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I decided to look into it and see how hard it was to replace, and the guy said, you know, mine leaked right after I replaced it, and he was laughing and said, come to find out, I just overfilled the damn thing. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I said, well, you know, maybe I could have, because I filled it on jack stands. I didn't fill it with it in the car. And then I got to noticing, because of a little near mishap I had, I jacked up the rear of the car, and the car started rolling back on the jack. So my driveway is slamped, and it's actually slamped a lot more than I thought it was. So I'm under the car today. I jack it up, I put a level on the rear end, and I'll show you all that. And I check it, and as soon as I take the plug out, the stuff starts gushing out. So it was way over full with the rear end level. So it had to go somewhere. Now before I address this issue, I want to go over this piece right here. I see questions about this all the freaking time. So this is commonly called the dog bone. Okay, this hangs from the rear end. A lot of people use it as a jack point, but basically it's a weight with rubber bushings. Okay, and you got these long bolts that go through, and it goes to this bracket on the top. Now what this is supposed to do is catch vibrations, because this is kind of a free-flowing kind of thing. The vibrations will go to it, and it'll be wasted in this free movement versus transferring down your drive line. Well, there's a few issues with that. First off, the first issue is it didn't work that great. Even Ford knew that, and Ford did away with it in later years. Second of all, when you do rear end changes or drive shaft changes, stuff like that, that kind of goes out the door too. So it's pretty much just a weight of uselessness. Now, I am going to weigh this because I'm very curious. I've seen 5 pounds to 15 pounds. I know it's solid. I would guess about 10 pounds at least. Alright guys, that won't even read this. So let me try something else. Yep, my fat ass weighs 296. So now I'm going to pick this up and see what I weigh. It's going 305. 296 to 305 is 11 pounds. Or, I'm sorry, 9 pounds. My math is off. So, that is 9 pounds off the rear end. So, give or take with the scales accuracy, I'd say, you know, people was right, about 10 pounds. Removing this has no ill effect on your car. And a lot of people say, well, Ford put it there for a reason. Yeah, a lot of times they do stuff for experiments. Hey, let's see how this works out. Oh, it works out great, then we're going to put it on the next car. Oh, it didn't work out that great, which this didn't, and they stopped putting it on the cars. Even if this did work, with it being 23 years old, you can see this right here. I can push down on it, and that stays where it needs to stay. But look at this side one. Whoop. I don't think it's supposed to do that. No. Now we're going to climb underneath the car, and I'll show you what I'm talking about under here. Just want to address safety first. I have a wheel chalk up there. This is off the ground, but I have a jack stand, and I have my jack, and both wheels are chalked so it does not roll backwards. The first time I ever did this, I didn't chalk the front wheels. I didn't have a jack stand. I just kind of raised up to rear to look, and the car started rolling backwards because, you know, there's no brake on the front, and that's not how things work. So let me get underneath here and address what I'm talking about. All right, so I got the light on so I can see. It was leaking from right up here, which is your pinion sill. Now, if you look, I got the dog bone removed. These ears are, from this point forward, are the flattest spot. And now it does come up but this bottom part tapers, so you can't see how level it is. So on this part right here where it's flat, I set a level up there and made sure I can get the rear end as level as possible. Now, sorry for the shaking, I'm holding this with one hand laying on my back, but basically as soon as I took that out, I don't know how well y'all can see this fresh fluid right up here that's coming down. As soon as I took that plug out with it being level, it started coming out, which means it was way over full. This hasn't leaked in about 2 days. So my whole theory is it leaked down finally to where it was under that mark, to where it's not going to leak from the top of the sill. But regardless, that is done, and now it hasn't been leaking. It only leaked since I opened it, and like I said, it came out. So the only theory that I can think of is it was high up in this, and it was leaking at the top of that sill, where that sill is not supposed to be catching fluid anyway, because it shouldn't really be that high. So I got this stuff wiped down. I got to tighten the bolt back up, and everything appears to be good, and which is good because I had some pretty expensive shit in there, and I didn't want to lose it all. I'm starting to twitch like a crackhead or something, but you can see where it's slung some of that around, and I've sprayed some stuff, but I'm going to degrease it. I'm going to paint some of the stuff while I'm under here, and we'll go from there. But I'm glad to see that it's still full and I'm not messing up my rear end. It was just a little over full. You can see it up there where it was. But I hope the issue with the dog bone, and that I hope that maybe it can address some other people's issues if they had a leak with it leaking from the pinion and they've added fluid or a fresh rear end. It could very well be from being overfilled. My poly bushings up here, they're still doing great. My control arms still doing great. Everybody talks about these bushings, but ever since I got the revised ones and did the trick on this end, I haven't had an issue whatsoever with these. I got to start combating the surface rust a little bit better. That's why I want to spray and get stuff cleaned up, because like most of y'all know, I live like a block away from the beach. So basically I didn't realize how steep my driveway was, and I'll try to get it on camera, but when I jacked up the rear end of the car, I was like, that's way too high. But when I look at from center cap to center cap of my rims, they look level. So I got out here and got my trusty level and put it on there and got it as level as I possibly could. So just to not to beat a horse to death or whatever the saying actually is, I can't think right now, but basically that sill is designed to stop at 360, but the majority of the portion I would think would be on the bottom, because that's where it's used to be in. And I think it was just too much on that sill to hold all that fluid at one time. And like I said, now that it's leaked down and it's right where it needs to be, it hasn't leaked a drop. So I'm hoping it stays with it. If not, then I'll have to replace the whole pinion sill, which, let's face it, it's going to come sometime sooner or later. But I try to get this real quick. So I have a piece of wood here that I'm trying to flatten out, and thinking about doing backseat delete or something with it, but it was kind of warped, so I'm trying to get it. Funny story, this actually blew in my yard from a storm, so figure that, or go figure. But I don't know, can y'all tell how that sloped down in this picture? And some of my pictures on Instagram, I mean, it's a lot more slope than I thought it was. So there's the car, and like I said, it looks like the rear end's high, but when I get back and kind of eyeball center cap to center cap, the camera does not want to focus because the sun behind it. Center cap to center cap's pretty close. So when I put that on there, and you can see right under the car, right there, that's where I opened the top up, and that's how much leaked out as soon as I opened it, with that whole rear end and drive shaft being level. So it was way overfilled. Sorry if I keep repeating myself. I've never really experienced anything like this, so it's kind of shocking to me. And like I said, hopefully, if anybody else has this issue, this is one of the things they can address and eliminate, whether that is the problem or it is not the problem. I know I'm just kind of rambling right now, but like I said, I'm amazed. I never even thought it would be something that simple. Which leads me to my next thing is sometimes, guys, we just overthink. We go straight to the crazy stuff. We go straight to the worst possible scenario. Oh my God, I need a new rear end already. I just bought this. I need a new engine. There's so many things. My power steering was leaking, and I thought for sure, okay, I need a new power steering pump. Belt was squealing because it was leaking so much fluid. It was slinging around underneath the hood. I said, okay, well, this needs to be addressed. Got underneath the other day, and I was looking, I said, this hose kind of looks backed out. I just put a line wrench on it and tightened it up, and it hasn't leaked a drop since. It's simple things, and guys, after 23 years, things is going to work loose, things is going to leak, things is going to happen. You may have bumped it, taken off the oil filter, not even realize that there's so many different things that that really, that can go wrong. Don't jump straight to the worst scenario like me. Go start simple, start cheap. This was free. Jack up the rear end and look. I'm grateful for all of y'all. I'm almost at 400 subscribers. My next goal is 500. I hope to be hitting that within a couple months, and then just straight going from there, guys. But again, thank y'all for watching. This is Horseplay out. Also, guys, tell me what you think of that new intro. It's basically my car from the day I bought it to now. I want to keep it around 15 to 17 seconds, so I only chose a few clips, which is things that changed along the way. Basically stock rims to hood to factory taillights to different spoiler to the chin spoiler to the Cobra front. You get it. But let me know what you think.
Turn around, I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with these 16 bars, I won't turn around. I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with these 16 bars, I won't turn around. I won't turn around. No matter how far I go, I'll never come